Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to Eightcap's Trade Zone weekly wrap, and we all know what the big one was this week, so don't take any notice of why I've started on BNB, but I have. So yeah, obviously this week the huge, the real big one was the Bank of Japan's meeting, and it wasn't really the rates that got things going. It was the yield adjustment by the Bank of Japan and the unscheduled bond buying program that really shook the market and sent the yen absolutely soaring. And we saw some amazing moves from the pairs from the majors and all the other pairs to the Japanese yen. I won't go into the crosses, but feel free to have a look at some of those crosses. There was some really some amazing declines. So the Aussie yen, for instance, at one stage it was really falling to levels not seen for a very long time, and then we saw over 5% at one stage, which is just a incredible move for a foreign exchange pair. For stocks, 5% isn't such, is a big move, but it's not something that you'd really jump out of your seat about. But definitely for a foreign exchange pair, 5% is just enormous. And we saw this across quite a few, all the majors as well. So there was just that massive buy up of the yen and an intense sell off. So that was definitely this week's big talking point. I personally don't really trade the yen, so I was just a spectator, but I do know it's a very popular currency, and it's the majors, especially the pound yen and the euro yen, are very popular, and the dollar yen as well. So I can't forget that one. They're very popular pairs, and a lot of traders do trade them, and it would have been one hell of an experience, excuse my language, to be trading that and to be involved with that earlier this week. So if you were trading it and you did pull off some beautiful gains, well done. And feel free to let us know in the comments if you did pick that and you did hold most of that move as it did decline. So love to hear some of your stories if you were participating on that event this week. So there's some other things this week. We had risk markets were doing okay until that that yen move came along. We saw a couple moves up, and then we saw last night a bit of a pullback, and we are seeing a bit of buying at this stage at late in the week. So the US 30, I did a bit of a talk about it yesterday on the weekly chart, and at this stage I'm not cooling from what we discussed yesterday, but definitely I am not pulling back a little bit from it, because I really would have liked to see this bar close higher and possibly even break above last week's open and just hold that move. So I'm definitely back, really entrenched in the sidelines for now, and I'll just keep looking to see if we do see more buying to signal a trend continuation here from this leg. So I won't spend too much time on that. We did a analysis piece on that yesterday. So some of the other markets are in the same boat. The only real positive I can see is that after that selling, we did see that fight back. So it's an interesting situation. We haven't really made any ground higher or lower really at this stage in the week. We're sort of just sitting around the middle of what we have seen after a couple of declines, a couple of rallies, a big decline, and then we'll have to see what happens tonight. There's not a lot of news coming out tonight. There's a little bit of data coming out. The key one will be the inflation data, which is the PCE price index. So that's coming out early tomorrow morning. 12:30 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Times. That's the core PCE price index. So I'm not sure if that's going to have a lot of impact, but they're expecting 0.2%, and we'll see what we get out of that. So some other aspects is the US dollar. So the US dollar did look to be threatening to start a new continuation yesterday, but buyers did fight back. We saw a higher close. We did see quite an interesting session on gold yesterday, so we'll get to that in a moment. But we can see the dollar now is really entrenched in a bit of a triangle pattern here. So we can just see here we have this line here, and below we have this point here. So it's consolidating. We'll need to see which way it breaks out. At the moment it still is in this downtrend, but we are seeing a touch of accumulation at this stage, and it's not really drawn out or really built up just yet. So we can see that distribution top up here. It's nice and wide like you like to see with the distribution top. So we'll have to just wait and see if we do some more accumulation, if the range stays tight, if it does persist, and if we do see another breakout higher, or if we do see a breakout lower. So traveling into the Christmas weekend, markets are consolidating a bit. The USD markets basically, not so much the yen markets, but we are seeing some consolidation, and stock indexes as well. We are seeing some consolidation as well. So the DAX, for instance, after that break lower, we've seen a little fight back, and then that's selling yesterday, and we're just seeing that range build up here. So we do. Typically, we can see a bit of a more quieter trade into Christmas, and you can see some quiet trade as well next week. But do keep in mind that when markets are thinner, we can see some good moves as well. So normally I don't participate in the markets from Christmas till around January 2nd. So, but you do see some moves when the markets are thin. So it takes a little bit less to get them going. But definitely the market's liquidity will be lower over that period. So if you are trading it, just keep that in mind. And we'll just need to see if we do get some direction, as at the moment we are seeing these ranges in play at the moment. Now, the dollar CAD as well, we are seeing a pattern building here, and we'll keep a bit of an eye on that. We have a bit of a nice resistance top here, and we have a triangle here. So it's an ascending triangle pattern. In an uptrend, these can be seen as continuations, but this one is quite drawn out, and there's a fair bit of consolidation there. So that could even possibly be turning into a bit of a distribution range like we saw here. It's not very wide, so we'll keep an eye on that. And a lot will come down to oil as well, how it travels into the the new year. And gold yesterday had a very sharp move lower, so we can see that move here. There's still a lot of resistance all the way up to, really from this high here, 1802, all the way going up to that 1819 area, nearly 1950, and there's just been plenty of resistance here, and it's really been stopping buyers for a fair period of time. We can also almost say here that we're starting to see a slight, a very rough ending diagonal pattern in play here. So they can be a warning of a trend change, but a lot, I think, will come down to the dollar if we are going to see a decent rollover in gold. At the moment, the pattern isn't very clear, but it's definitely doing one thing, and it's consolidating and struggling to break above this area here on the short term at 1940. So that's really the area that we need to see buyers break, but we are seeing plenty of demand, from that 1788.50 all the way down to 1767.70. So there's plenty of stopping going on below, and there's plenty of stopping going on above. So oil, we'll just have a quick look at oil. Oil, still like oil, so we've had that little leg up higher here. There is some resistance just at this area here, but this leg here, look, it's trying its best at the moment to get something going, but we're not really seeing any key move just yet. Buyers do need to really break above this level and get back up to try and test and break this area 81.90. The market has been struggling every time it's sort of got above that 78 point to try and get something going. So we've seen a few times it's been stopped. The latest was yesterday. So first things first, we need to see the market get back into the 79 area and then back to the 80 area, and then try and challenge this 81 to 82 area as well, just above. So now the VIX had a bit of it's been seen a little bit of movement lately, so we are seeing a pretty wide range here, so it could be seen as a bit of a accumulation. It is pretty wide, so we'll need to see if we do see I don't think we'll see a massive volatility pick up, but yeah, anything sort of over this area here with a sharp move up is starting to show that things might be starting to increase in volatility, and that could have a knock-on to effect to some of the other markets as well. So now we'll just close on cryptos. It's not going to be a very long weekly wrap video today as we head to Christmas. So cryptocurrencies, similar story. We're just seeing these ranges. Ethereum as well. We're still continuing to see some of these ranges persist, and I think the market is still in a bit of a shock after FTX, and it is a bit of a worry. I think a lot of participants in the market may be on the sidelines at the moment, or maybe just be sitting and holding and just looking for some good news to start really getting back into accumulation stage and trying to get some rallies going. Crypto is higher today, so Solana, even though it's up 1.35%, we can see on the chart that really doesn't mean too much. It's still just sitting above these lows set back after that FTX collapse, and they're back on the November lows. Sorry, itchy nose as always when the camera is on. Now AVA and ADA. So ADA has set a few lows, but it's sort of grinding now. Buyers are trying to put in like a bit of a bottom, but again, there's not a lot of it just doesn't look like there's a lot of demand and a lot of motivation in the market in the crypto market at the moment to get to the upside. Obviously, these are some of the major coins. There's going to be exceptions to this across the coins, but for time's sake, we don't have the time to go through every coin that's on there at the moment. So I think the market will just need to see something that sort of gives it a bit of a green light just to start getting back into crypto. And there's been a lot of shock this year with crypto, and there's been a lot of heartache. Not only FTX, but we had those original moves lower. We had the debacle with Luna. This hasn't been a great year for crypto at all, really. And that's not from, price-wise has obviously been interpreted on the charts, but that's really from a fundamental industry standpoint, which is a bit of a worry. But hopefully that all gets worked out. And I'll be looking to see in 23, 24, if there is, maybe ranges do set up like we saw after the original sell-off on Bitcoin many years ago. But if we do see stability come back into the market and the market starts to see some growth again and some recovery, which would be a positive. Now, so just finishing off the week today. So GDP was raised and met 3.2%. That was the final GDP for the US. We had unemployment claims yesterday as well at 216, which is better than expected. And tonight we have Canadian GDP, which is expected to come at 0.1%, and the core PCE price index, which is expected to come in at 0.2%, repeating that one from earlier. So they're the two key news data pieces coming out to cap off the week. They're at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the States, and locally they will be at 12:30 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. So that's it for this week's wrap. Thank you very much for tuning in. Look, I apologize, it wasn't the most exciting wrap, but definitely the JPN debacle this week was quite an enjoyable event to watch, and it sure livened up the week when that was going on. So have a fantastic weekend. Thank you again very much for tuning in. As always, if you do enjoy our content and you want to check out what we're releasing, please subscribe and check out our latest analysis that's coming out as well. And have a very safe and happy weekend, and have a very Merry Christmas if you are celebrating Christmas, and we'll see you next week. So all the best, and bye for now.